My cousin Georgie, who was an airman during WW2, dropped bombs on Japan. And this guy, although he transitioned well into a high school football coach and later an administrator, had nightmares about the photos he'd seen of the damages he'd done with the bombs he dropped on Japan. Welcome to the Combat Vet Transition Journey podcast. Pat Frager here. Every combat vet suffers from physical and emotional challenges. I find that transition is a lifelong journey. As they say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Today I'm going to be interviewing Michael Wood. Michael served in Iraq with the Marine Corps. He was a gunnery sergeant under the infamous Joe Sturdivant, who you'll also hear from in the future. Michael will share with you his trials and tribulations as he transitioned from combat to civilian life, and the way in which he used never forgotten media as a means in which to transition himself and become a stable human being and a great family man. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe and comment by sharing your thoughts, passions, and transitional journeys in what will become your favorite podcast. It's a pleasure to have Michael Wood on. Michael, how have you been?
Good.
Michael's a Marine vet, served in Iraq, gunnery sergeant with the Marine Corps, and Michael will tell you about his trials and tribulations as he went from that feral and bellicose life of combat to the more tranquil but competitive life of a civilian, and he's used never forgotten media as a vehicle to get there. Michael, how's it going, bro?
Good. No, thank you. Thank you for having me on today. I'm pretty excited about the launch of this new platform.
It's fun. Tell me this now. I don't want to get into your traumatic experience. That's not the custom and practice of this podcast or video. I don't want to hear about it. I don't think you need the triggers, nor do I want vicarious traumatization. What I'm interested in is how you got from combat, where you had your issues, and again, you share what those issues are, to where you are right now, a very successful guy who's transitioned. You have three beautiful girls. You have a beautiful wife who is also a combat vet. And just tell us how you got there, Michael.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the things, I never thought I was going to leave active duty. 12 years of active duty service, and I was in Iraq, and a bunch of concussions, a bunch of, things, that you experience. But when I left active duty, I didn't realize how much that had affected me until I was working with Marines that were leaving active duty, coming into the reserves, because I was doing educational and advisement then on the reserve side. And for me, it was like looking in the mirror, seeing these guys struggle, and I'm like, oh, they're dealing with stuff that I deal with, because I was in denial. I was in this phase of, that Marine mentality, you don't go to sick call, even when you're sick. You just take 2 Motrins and call it a day, type thing. And so part of my journey was actually starting to seek that care, going to the VA, saying, hey, there's something that's not right with me. Maybe somebody else can do a little bit better job than just me self-medicating or whatever. And through that process, the VA diagnosed me with PTSD, TBI. And so it was an eye-opener that I had to think about life and the way I approach things differently.
Now, let me interject something right here. In the future, we're going to hear from a dear friend of yours and mine, Joe Sturdivant. Mm-hmm. Joe is a Master Sergeant in the Marine Corps, did 22 years. Did you have interaction with him in the Corps and after? Tell us.
So funny story with in the Corps. So in Japan, I was coming from a unit checking in, and everybody was on a 72. And so as a brand new staff sergeant, I walked in, and Master Sergeant Joe Sturdivant's like, hey, welcome aboard, Marine. I'm excited for you to work here in the motor pool. We got a 72, so go home, enjoy your weekend. And then on Monday morning, I got a call for H&S Company, and they wanted me to be company gunny for H&S as a brand new staff sergeant. And I was like, who in the world would suggest that I come up here and lead the company? Joe Sturdivant. So I was fired before I was even hired from Joe Sturdivant. But
Sounds like an upward promotion to me.
At the time I was like, who is this guy? Really? He doesn't even know me.
WTF, right?
Yeah. But I got to say that at the end of the day, Joe pours his heart out, and he's somebody that I still aspire to because of all the veterans he helps.
Now, have you kept in touch with Joe throughout your transition from leaving Marine Corps with TDRL or medical, whatever it was, to where you are now?
Yeah, one of the things that Joe really helped me out with is, I was struggling in school. I had to get some special testing, had memory loss and stuff like that. And I needed some help from the VA and some specialized letters. And I was hitting roadblocks. I was like, Joe, I need some help. I don't know who to talk to. He's like, I know exactly who you need to talk to. And we walked up to the 4th floor, knocked on the door. Hey, Doc, I got this amazing combat veteran here. He needs some help with his schooling and stuff like that. Can you set up a time to talk with him? Yeah, sure, Joe. Anything for you.
So veterans advocates at the VA do work, or at least Joe does.
Yes. The impact that Joe has, the people he knows, and just being able to connect veterans with the right resources, it inspires me because I'm like, wow, that's somebody that I want to be in the future.
Now, has it always been smooth, or have you had your setbacks along your way?
I think you mentioned it before on one of your other episodes, but a journey is not, a transition journey is not a race. It's a stepping stone. It's a building stone. And so there's many times that, just like when I was a smoker, it took me almost a decade to really become a non-smoker. I failed. I took and failed classes and while I was taking at school, both, not only the first semester at Miracosta, but at San Marcos, Cal State San Marcos. I've got an F on my transcript, and I'm proud of it now. At the time, it was a roadblock.
Why were you proud of it? Why are you proud of it?
Because I still achieved my degree. I still achieved my goal. Yes.
So it motivated you?
It helps me learn. It helped me learn that not only do I have limitations, but I have resources, and there's other things I can do.
Why didn't you just give up? Why didn't you just say, screw it? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to medicate. I'm going to take whatever medication cocktails may be prescribed or I can get away with, and any other environmental supplements, including but not limited to a fifth of Jack Daniels. Why didn't you just do that, Michael?
There could have been times that I did take that route, but at the end of the day, it's sort of, in my case, I've got a bunch of little girls. I've got a wife I got to take care of. But even if I didn't have those things, I still have family. I still have a purpose in life. Maybe I couldn't see it at the time, but now I realize that one of my purposes is to help other veterans. If I didn't get past that point of me being stuck, then that one veteran that's, I'm supposed to cross paths with in the future, and I'm supposed to be just, even if it's a baby step of helping him move up one, if I'm not there ready for him, he's not going to have that.
Now tell me, how do you equate what you're doing during your transition with that which you accomplished while you're in the Corps? Did you help veterans at that level? People, the E1s through E5s or E6s that you dealt with while you were in the Corps?
Yeah, I was definitely guilty when I was on active duty, even on the reserve side, taking care of my Marines more than the mission. So my fit reps reflected that sometimes, but it was something that I'm drawn to, is just taking care of my Marines, taking care of my veterans, and
taking care of your family.
My family, and even when I pass them in the hallway, on campus, or when I'm at the studio, or when I'm at the mall and I see a veteran, and I'm just like, hey, how you doing? Let's chat. Let's. I don't have all the answers in the world, but I know people that do. And finding out where their need is, or where their place in life is at, maybe they need to talk to Joe.
Now tell me, how How long did it take you to have this experience, this epiphany, where you said to yourself, Self, I need to help myself so I can help others?
In reality, I was in denial. I was in that phase of life of, I'm good, the world's good, I'm experiencing things that nobody else experiences. And when I was helping active duty members transition into the reserve component, it was like me looking in that mirror. And the experiences and the things that they were going through was me. Even though I was a staff sergeant, even though I was a gunny, I was like, there's something there. There's a connection. There's a thread. And I started pulling on it. And that's when I looked at, okay, maybe I need some help. Maybe I need some more help. And that's when after getting tested and getting seen by counselors at the VA, I was diagnosed with PTSD, TBI. Later on in my schooling, I had memory. I got working memory issues and stuff. And, that happens in combat, when you get blown up and shot at. But I was in denial. And part of that process of the transition is, if I can't see it, maybe somebody else can help me see it to be able to find that next step where I could step up, because I can't help anybody else if I'm not in the right mind.
Now you're at Never Forgotten Media. You're doing quite well. How much further do you need to go in your transition journey?
I think
your mind.
I think with every transition, it's more like goals. It's more because in reality, our life is a journey, and so, the transition piece of me leaving active duty and going into the reserves was one transition, and then leaving the reserves, going into civilian life, without any military connection was a whole nother journey or transition. It was a stepping stone. It's building upon the next one, because there's no way I could be where I'm at today, and I wouldn't say I'm at the top of the mountain. I'm on Mount Fuji, like elevation, I don't know, 20,000 feet right now. I'm heading in the direction I want to go, but it took steps to get there, successes. I had to slide back a bunch of times, especially if you climb Mount Fuji, it's like 1 forward, 5 back, you slide, and then you keep going. But it's once you achieve that little success, that little step, that you built the foundation, that that you can do more, and that you're going to fail again, or at least in my case, I would fail again. Like I come to work some days that I fail at getting all the stuff I planned for the day. And I got a client pissed off at me. But it's a part of the building block. It's stepping and moving forward because I learned from it, and I'm grow stronger, because I have a family, I have friends, I have a personal, not only to myself and God, but my fellow veterans, because I have a duty and responsibility to be there when I cross paths with them, when they need somebody to, reach out and grab their hand. I'm ready for that.
Well, obviously you've reached out and grabbed many hands, and I can see many of these blocks you've put together right here at Never Forgotten Media, as well as other people I've met, one of which was our friend Luke here, who was your understudy or somebody who's training under you. So thank you so much for your service. Do you want to add anything, although we can go on, before we invite other people to join us?
Yeah, I would definitely reiterate that, the stepping stone, I've hit so many failures in my life. I failed classes, I was a heavy smoker, and it took me 10 years. Don't stop. Keep trying. You're going to fail, and be okay with it, because you're going to learn from it and be much more stronger than if it was just easy and you just learn how to stop smoking in one day. You don't learn anything from it, because in reality, what we're doing as combat veterans is helping each other. And so every time that you learn from your failure, you have much more that you can help your fellow vet in the future.
Well, thank you, Michael. And for those of you who are watching, we hope that you'll tune in for future episodes, because we want to hear your story and what you're doing to transition, what your trials and tribulations are, what you do when you trip, fall, and get up. Tell us about your support group and see if we can help you. All right, during the next session, you're going to go on a tour of a military museum with Harris, who happens to be a patron of these sessions and a strong believer and supporter of the military. You're going to go to a museum with Joe Sturdivant, of which I've spoken before, and you'll see combat vets who've served everywhere from World War I all the way through Afghanistan. You'll see weapons that have been used anywhere from military tomahawks to M1 Garand rifles. You'll see people such as Chesty Puller, who many people who remember, great Marine Corps General Carlos Hathcock, great Marine Corps sniper who I've served with, and many others. Give us a thumbs up and be part of future episodes where you can help your fellow vets transition successfully. You are the captains of your fate. You are the masters of your soul.